Hi, and thanks for watching our training video today. In this video, we'll be covering how to allocate customer or lead records to a group or users for the purposes of monetizing or selling those records to those groups or users. And so let's just dive right into it here. Of course, I've already logged into my account, and once that's happened, you're going to want to go to the Resources tab and click on the Data Distribution Profiles link. Okay, and from this page, you're going to have a couple different options where you can add some profiles. I've already created a couple demo ones that I'm going to use for our video today, but the first one deals with what we call an inbound partner type. And this profile allows you to allocate, like I say, customers or lead records that are coming into your account, whether that be through landing pages or an offer or imports, and import of data. You know, there's all kinds of ways that data can get into your system or into your account here. But as they come in, then you can allocate them to your groups. So what you do first, of course, is give it a name. We already know that the type is an inbound partner. There's some other options related to what kind of information you want your companies that are buying this data or your users that are calling on it to see. So you can provide some customizations there. Okay, and then down here is where you set up the allocations. So we have what we call today's allocations and tomorrow's allocations. And really there's not a difference between these two as far as what they do. It's just that at midnight each day, the allocation set up on tomorrow will then become today's allocations, and a new tomorrow allocation will come. And we simply did that so that you don't have to wait up as a user till midnight to make changes to your allocations the next day if for some reason the way that you're going to be allocating this data is going to be changing. So the first thing you want to do, of course, to get options to populate in your drop-downs here is to add partners. And we cover how to do that in a different video. But once you have your partners added, then they'll start showing up in these drop-downs, and you can select from these drop-downs and add additional partners or additional tiers and then additional partners to kind of come up with the different allocations that you have in mind or that you need to set up in order to distribute the records to your individual, in this case it'd be companies, individual companies that are buying your data. Okay, so you come in here and you can give them a percentage. If you want these guys to get 80% and cap out at 100 records or 100 customers, then you can do that. Maybe these guys get 10% and they only get 20, they cap out at 20. And these guys get the remaining 10 to equal 100%, and they're going to cap out at 30. The way this works is once these allocations and these caps have been met, then it'll move from this tier 1 down into tier 2 if you have a tier 2, and of course that's optional. But then down in tier 2 you can do the same thing, set up additional caps and percentages, and then you can come over in tomorrow's allocations and again make changes and add additional tiers. Maybe you have 3 tiers in tomorrow's allocations. And like I say, as soon as midnight hits, then tomorrow's allocations will replace what you see in today's allocations, and those will become what gets used from that point on. So as an example, let's say you have an offer, somebody comes to the offer, makes a purchase, and you want to display a phone number or an address or a company name to that user, that customer, because you're going to be selling that record or partnering with another company to call on that record or do something with that record to monetize it or provide additional service to it. And in that case, this allocation works really well. And once you have selected your companies up here, and I'm just going to leave this one blank, just have it be 1 tier for now. I'm going to click Save. And then when I go back in to edit this profile, you're going to see that now down below here, all the companies that I've selected up here are now appearing down below. And this section down below serves a couple purposes, but the main purpose is when you click on inbound info, you can provide the phone numbers and the company names and the addresses and some other custom parameters if you want, or custom information that you can then use to display on the thank you page of your offer, on the welcome email of your offer, or even a member area, and a couple other places like in an e-signature, an electronic agreement, things like that. It also has some other settings here for data sharing. So in addition to this record getting assigned to this particular partner or company or group, it's also going to place that record for that company into their partner account. And like I said, in another video we talk about how to set up partner accounts, but this will not only, like I say, display to the customer the information that you choose to have show up here, but will also copy that customer record or lead record into that company or partner's account so that they can log in and they can download that data themselves or export it or manage it right in their account there if they want to. Other things you can do here are manage records. Any records that are getting assigned to a particular partner, you can reassign them, you can delete them, you can look them up, just some basic features there. And then you can also keep track of order history. And this is just kind of a real basic thing, but you can come in here and you can put in, if some company is going to buy from you today 100 customers and you get a payment from them, say today or yesterday, then as the system allocates records to them, it'll keep track of how many they have and mark it as fulfilled once you get to 100. And it just helps you keep track of how many records have been assigned to each partner or company. Okay. One last thing here is that under this little tab with the plus icon, you can set up some different exceptions or filters. So if some companies are buying data from you and they don't want any records that are in a particular area code or city or state or country, or potentially they only want data from a particular traffic source or sub-ID, you can also set up exceptions here and add those, and they'll have today and tomorrow allocations just like you have here on this general tab, so that you can kind of divert data to different partners or companies that you're selling your data to based on a few other little parameters or specifics that are unique to them. This happens a lot with like insurance, auto insurance companies, where only those brokers in a particular state want leads from that state, but they don't want leads from other states. And so you can set up theoretically a tab for every single state, and then have brokers within each state that your data is getting allocated to as it comes in on your campaign. Okay, so that's how to do our inbound partner data distribution. And then we'll go over this one here too, where you're going to allocate your leads to users. It's very, very similar. As you can see, there's not some of the tracking below, but you give it a name, you have some options. If a user is not online, then you don't assign it to anyone, that record, or if they are, then you can still use the percentages below. But basically this particular area is assigning, like it says, records to users. So if you have your own internal call center or your own internal group that uses your same login and you want them to get assigned leads or customer records for them to call or work through, then you can use this user management distribution to set up as many different lines and records here of who is going to get leads and at what percentages. And same thing, you can add additional tabs to filter by state or affiliate, traffic source, sub-ID, those kinds of things. Okay, and once these get assigned to your users, they'll have their own login, and they can log in and go to their leads or customers tab to see the customers or leads that were assigned to them, and then start to work those records by either calling them or emailing them or whatever they do. So that covers how to do that. If you have other questions, be sure to rewatch this video or reach out via email to your site administrator and look for some more help. Thanks for watching.